kind of what makes traveling just special. Like there's something about getting together for good food with good people.
Yeah.
We did an Italian restaurant the first night, and we did a Cuban restaurant the second night. And the Italian restaurant, was it in a hotel? Or what was that?
Yeah,
or an
so
office building?
This is the thing
That sounds terrible. But
it wasn't. I think there was a condo building, but it was on the outskirts of it, so it was kind of attached to it. But this is what's really cool traveling with other people. I feel traditionally when you and I travel, it's more of comfort. Like if we're hungry in the middle of the day and we're like, oh, let's go eat now. Let's go walk down the street. We don't really pre-plan a lot, which we are going to start doing because this was a really fun experience doing it. But we went to Miami with his cousins Cherie and Jeremy. They're married. And then also with their good friends. So, you know, it was 6 of us and it was 3 couples. So it was a lot of fun. But they did all the research of, this is the must-have Italian you got to go to. You have to go to this Cuban restaurant. So the first night we went to, it was downtown Miami. So we were staying in South Beach. We were at the Lowe's Hotel, and they were staying at the Ritz-Carlton. So luckily it was a 4-minute walk, you know, so close. But this restaurant we went to, it was probably about a 30-minute ride into downtown. And the Italian restaurant on the very first night was called Gabbiano's. And we ended up saying, you know what? We're on vacation. Let's go for it. Let's enjoy some good food. So we got the chicken parm and you got the gnocchi, and it was so flipping good.
And the chicken parm wasn't even on the menu. But my cousin's bold, and she always asks for like, she has no problem asking. And she was like, what's the closest to chicken parm, or can I get chicken parm? And they were like, of course. So then like everyone started getting chicken parm.
Yeah, all of us.
And so we were able to get that. But it was, it was just really great. And for me too, because I haven't been having any carbs other than like potatoes and Ezekiel bread. So when I had pizza, when I was having gnocchi, when I was having like the breaded chicken, it was like times 10 of how good that really tasted.
And the portions too at this place, that was a huge chicken parm. It was really, really big. And then the other thing I loved about Gabbiano's, it was right on the water. So the vibe of this place was just so dreamy. We were watching the sunset, and the weather was really nice too. It was a little warm, but what's really cool, they have these fans in there, which is so smart because it keeps all of the airflow going, and so you're never just sitting there sweating.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't.
Oh, I was drenched. But that was making more room, you know? The more you sweat it out, the more you can drink and have fun. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. And then we walked to a bar down the street, which was really low key, which I think is really nice because I think the older you get, you're more likely to want to go and sit somewhere in that atmosphere and have a good conversation rather than being by a speaker and having to yell.
What?
So yeah, we just got to just sit and talk and spend time together, and it was awesome. And then the next day was your birthday. So Alyssa got herself a beautiful massage. And I wanted to bring her, I always love bringing flowers on her birthday. So I was like, well, I have to get her flowers. And my unplanning self didn't think, well, maybe you should have the flowers delivered. Because I go, you can just run to a florist and get flowers. Like, it's not a big deal. So while she was getting her massage, I said, this is the perfect time. And I go outside and I was like, I'll get some sun, I'll walk. So I was walking and walking and walking, and I got to see South Beach because I walked for 45 minutes in 100-degree weather. And I came across this florist, and I go, this is perfect. They even had balloons and everything. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to walk back with balloons and flowers because that's just going to look ridiculous if I walk up, half a mile. So I'll get a new one on the way back. I walk into this place, and I was like, do you do flowers here? And she's like, yeah, we do flowers. And I go, great. And she goes, well, you have to order them. And I could probably get them to you tomorrow. And I said, well, I just want flowers like now. And she's like, oh, we don't do that. You have to order online. And I said, okay. I said, well, I need them now. Thinking like maybe they would say like, we just have some nice flowers. Like, I'll gonna give you money.
Right.
You give me the flowers.
Right.
Like they turn down a customer. Unless they literally don't have flowers and they have to go get them somewhere. Maybe that's what it was. So I'm giving them a hard time. But anyway, they sent me back out in the heat. And I said, well, where is a place to get flowers? And she goes, I mean, if you want like flowers now, you have to go to Whole Foods. And I said, well, can I walk there? And she goes, well, if you like walking. And I said,
That's
okay.
what she said.
So I did. I continued to walk, and I got to a Whole Foods, and they had a great selection. So I saw that there were 12 red roses, and I said, this is perfect. And just like most grocery stores, there's going to be the flower section, the balloon section, and the vase section. They didn't have a vase section. And I was like, well, where are we going to put these in the hotel? In the ice bucket?
Aww.
So I was looking around, and I asked the people there, like, we don't have a vase. And I was like, that's a bummer. But then I noticed this flower, these bunch of flowers in a vase. And I was like, well, what about that? And they're like, well, that's the wildflowers. Do you need those? I said, oh, I don't need the wildflowers. I'll pay for the wildflowers. Just give me the vase. Everyone there was like frozen. And they were like holding this, and they're like, well, if we charge, she's like, well, who wants the flower? I was like, just give me the vase, and I will pay the thing. It was the most awkward thing. Like, nobody like tried to, I don't know. But anyway, I got the vase. I hopped in the Uber. I came home. She was still finishing up. I went and peeled off all the roses, all the little...
the greenery. He knows that I hate when there's just too much greenery on roses. It just looks messy to me.
So I made a really nice presentation, had a beautiful card ready and all that stuff. So then
so sweet.
Yeah, and then we got to go sit on the beach and just, really hang out and enjoy and get ready for the Cuban restaurant that night.
Well, before we get into the delicious Cuban restaurant, what's really funny for me is I generally am always a planner. Especially when I know there are specific things just ahead of time, like, getting a massage on your birthday. I go, that's the one guilty pleasure. That's the one thing I want to do. And I must have just been so busy that I forgot. And on our drive home, I was like, man, I really, 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 or on our drive to the hotel, I was like, I really want to make sure that I can get some sort of massage on my birthday. So I started calling. I started with the hotel and their spa, and they're like, oh, we're all booked. And I called all these other hotels, booked. And I was like, this isn't going to work. And then a light bulb went off, and I go, wait, last time that I got a massage, it was with Soothe. And Soothe is an on-demand massage app, so they come to you. And what's really interesting that I learned about this is you actually get more time in your massage when you use Soothe. So my masseuse was telling me, he goes, if you go to a spa and say you get a 60-minute massage, he goes, they incorporate the amount of time it takes for you to get changed, undressed, get under. So if you're getting a 60-minute massage, you're probably getting a 48-minute true of your massage. So that's what I learned from my fabulous masseuse that day. He was so wonderful. So yeah, Soothe saved the day. I was able to plan that. He came right to the hotel room.
That's nice, yeah.
So you don't have to get awkward and go, especially right now, just with everything happening in the world. I just wasn't trying to be around a ton of people. And it was crazy because I would say for about 95% of the massage, it felt really good and you're just like able to completely relax. But he was like, you're really, really tense, so I've got to really like rub some of the stuff out. So for like 5% of the massage, I was sitting there and I was like taking these crazy deep breaths. And he's like, you're going to be a little sore tomorrow. I was like, yeah, I could tell.
Were you though?
A little bit, yeah.
You didn't really, it must not have been too bad because you didn't really like make a thing of it.
Say anything. No, I mean, I could definitely feel it. But I still feel so loose from it.
Yeah.
It was so nice. So A+ experience with the massage. Because, I mean, here's the thing with South Beach. It is the most beautiful backdrop ever. It's this, so we went to Ocean Boulevard the night of my birthday. And that's where they have the Art Deco, just the beautiful neon colors and the pastels. And then it's right on the beach, which has these white sands and these crystal blue oceans. I mean, the backdrop is just insane.
And it's like, it almost seems like colorful Lamborghinis is like made to be in Miami. It's almost like the only time when you see them that you're like, this fits perfectly.
Like, this should be here.
Because there's the orange and pinks and purples. Like if you see one randomly in Orlando, it's kind of like, all right, that's cool. Or even in LA, I was like, wow, cool car. But it looks like it belongs in Miami.
Fits here.
You have these exotic cars. They have all these different lights shining up, and on all the hotels, like it's orchestrated beautifully. But Miami, yeah, if you haven't gone and you're like thinking of a vacation in the future, we've been fortunate to go to many different cities in the U.S., a little bit outside the U.S., but a lot in the U.S.
Yeah.
And this one really blew me away.
We really loved it. And
it's cool.
We got there on a Thursday, so we really felt the true local vibe before like the vacationers came into town. And so that's just interesting to know too, if you're ever traveling somewhere and go during the week, if that's something, you're able to do. I personally love seeing just what that true vibe is like. You know?
Well, we're a little spoiled just because of our schedule the past 10 years of our life. Because even when I was working on days, I had a lot of days of the week off. So there'd be a week where I don't work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so we soon found out that if you're going to go to Disneyland, if you're going to go explore somewhere, if you can do it on a Tuesday at 11 a.m., there's less people,
commotion,
and
craziness,
it's more so it's the same thing because if someone only has a 3-day thing, or even how we went down for just like basically Friday, Saturday, that's when everybody goes,
right?
So everything, even like grocery stores at certain times, like if you go to the grocery store at like 11 a.m. on a Tuesday,
no one's
there. If you go on the Friday at 6 p.m., it's just packed. So you're right, there was something about the local, because I thought when we were driving in it was going to be Vegas. Anyone who's ever taken the drive from Los Angeles to Vegas, you're on the 15, and there's a one point in this dark desert, 2 lanes, you're like, it's like boring, and you go over this hill, and you are hit with Viva Las Vegas. It is, you've never seen so many lights before, and you always on the 15, when you go over it, you see this, and there's, you drive in, and there's cars everywhere, and there's people walking, and there's and we get to South Beach, and I'm looking around going, where's everybody at?
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like like the spot, and the whole day wasn't like, it was like all
people were on bikes and living, but you could tell they were locals.
Yes, and then all of a sudden Friday was like turn up,
crazy.
Just packed, and I go, this is what I envisioned, and it was great. I think it just depends on what you're looking to do, but I was just surprised that Thursday was low key, and then Friday was just packed, and we were just like walking around and having a good time.
So, yes, Italian if you're there at Gabbiano's. And then the night of my birthday, we ended up going to this Cuban restaurant that was highly suggested. And it was so good. It was called Havana Vieja?
Vieja? Vieja, something like that.
And it was really cool because you walk in and they have all these like flowers hanging from the ceiling. And it was just a gorgeous aesthetic. And then we got the food.
That was good.
Just impeccable.
I love how my cousin Jeremy has he's, how tall is Jeremy? 6'3", 6'4", maybe, and he's just like was born with 8% body fat, and he is always 8% body fat. And we had to talk with my cousin about that, because anytime you watch him eat, you're just like, how is this possible? And she goes, yep, I have no idea. He ordered so much food. He ordered like it was a plate for 2. It came with everything basically on the menu. He's just sitting there smashing it. Completely fine. It was ready for dessert later. Had the sundae. After I had just a flank steak with a little rice and beans, I was locked up for 4 hours. I literally even had to like walk everything off. But it was so good and authentic.
Delicious.
So we were very, very fortunate. And then the last thing that we did for food is both nights, when we walked back to the hotel, we went and got ourselves a big slice of pizza, which was like, I would say,
it was huge.
It was huge, and we just folded it in half and we ate it, and it was a cool
from
time.
This place called Pizza Kitchen. So
I'm doing more coffee. This is making me feel really good.
Oh no! Oh gosh, you're gonna be off the walls. But yeah, Pizza Kitchen. It's right in between the Lowe's Hotel and the Ritz-Carlton, and they give you these huge slices, and they have a lot of custom signature pizzas you can make, but if you order one of those, you had to wait longer. So at the end of the night, we're like, just give me the cheese, and the cheese was so good. And for me, it is a really big deal if I don't eat my pizza with ranch. If I don't have ranch, because normally
you didn't have ranch.
I did not, because it was that good. I didn't even think to ask for it because it was so good. Isn't that interesting?
It was good. We found it because we went back. The first night we went back around 11. It was like 11:40. Mm-hmm. We get to the hotel and we were like kind of bickering a little bit. I forget why. I think because
you were hungry. I was like, let's just go to bed.
Yeah, but what was there was something that agitated me. I can't remember what it was, but I remember you were just like, well then fine, and like we left our hotel and you're like, no, you
wanted to see if there was, or I wanted to see if there was room service.
Yes.
I think that's.
And I was like, I didn't want to wait or whatever it was, but I was so hungry, and I was like, we need food, and I think places were closed, and I said, what? This doesn't make sense. How can you not get food? And you're like, I think I saw a pizza place. Just come on. And she took off, and it was right down. It was right like by our hotel. I'm so glad. But there was it was just great. So overall, Miami trip.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Man, we had a blast.